Even though the Ethiopian scriptures clearly places Joseph, the son of the firstborn, Moses, the son of the firstborn, Solomon, the son of the firstborn, during the latter years with Sheba, European writers during the Renaissance period created their own Old and New Testament format in order to put the future in the past by having you believe that modern day characters died thousands of years ago. So let's read. I am often reproached in Europe for allowing my country to remain uncivilized, but those people who accuse me do not know Abyssinia and allow themselves to be misled by biased books. Remember, the original Bible was called the Book of the Testament. So wheresoever was found with any the Book of the Testament, the Babylonian king commanded him to be put to death. In other words, they didn't want you to know the truth. Hence, they changed up his story. So let's watch.
Get two stories in the Gospels and go through them word for word, line for line, write down everything that happens and compare your lists. And it doesn't matter, do it with the birth stories, do it with the crucifixion stories, do it with the resurrection, just do it yourself and find out, are there differences here or not? I mean, just one example. One example. It involves
There's
Luke.
so many examples that one can do, but know who the elect of God is before you read about him.
Ethiopian monarch, Haile Selassie I, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, elect of God, King of kings, power of the Trinity, Emperor of Ethiopia.
So who is the elect of God? Let's watch. Jesus, the successor of Moses, according to his name, was made great for the saving of the elect of God. That's why in the time of Moses, he fought in the sight of the Lord and he followed the mighty one. So you notice who Moses is, and Jesus together with Moses, right? So who is Moses? Moses is just another name for Solomon. And as when Moses prayed unto the Lord, the fire came down from heaven and consumed the sacrifices. Even so prayed Solomon also, and the fire came down from heaven and consumed the burnt offerings. And Moses said, because the sin offering was not to be eaten, it was consumed. So Solomon kept those 8 days. Why? Because they're the same person. So let's watch. During the wisdom of Solomon, the elements will be changed. And during the wisdom of Solomon, you will find the story of Moses. Why? Because it's the same person. So they altogether had innumerable dead. For in one moment the noblest offspring of them was destroyed. For whereas they would not believe anything by reason of the enchantments upon the destruction of the firstborn. In other words, during the wisdom of Solomon, you will find that the Egyptian firstborns were dying. So they acknowledged this people to be the sons of God. Thine almighty word leaped down from heaven and out of thy royal throne as a fierce man of war in the midst of the land of destruction. Remember when this happens. It happens during the first book of Esdras. There you will find Esdras the priest, and you will also find Jesus and of the sons of Jesus. So you will find the sons of Jesus, who is the son of Hosedek, also known as the son of Joseph. And when will we be there? When Moses bring the law of Moses that was given of the Lord God of Israel on the first day of the 7th month. And they blessed the Lord God Most High, the God of hosts Almighty, and all those people answered, also Jesus. In other words, Jesus was there together with Moses, along with the son of Aaron, because remember, Aaron is Moses' brother. So you see the son of Aaron is there. And when does this happen? I, Esdras, also known as Moses, received a charge of the Lord upon the Mount Horeb that I shall go on to Israel. I came unto them, and they sought me at naught, and despised the commandment of the Lord, which happens at the end of time. Why? Look for your shepherd, for he shall come in the end of the world. And if you don't know that Moses is Solomon, all you need to know is the holy ark of the Lord in the house that King Solomon, the son of David, had built. Remember, David is considered the firstborn. So Solomon is his son. Joseph is considered the firstborn because he is Israel's son. And Moses is considered the son of the firstborn because he's Jacob's son, and Jacob is Israel. So let's read. Thy name shall not be called Jacob, but Israel shall they name thy name. I am the Lord who came from heaven and the earth, and kings shall come forth from thee. Remember, kings shall come forth from Jacob, and it happens at the end of times. So who is Jacob? Jacob, God acknowledged him as the firstborn and gave him his inheritance. He fixed the boundaries for his tribes and their division into 12. From him was to spring Moses. See, notice Jacob is the firstborn, and from Jacob was to spring Moses. And we all know that Jacob is Israel. So who is Moses? And Israel, who is Jacob, loved Joseph, who is Moses, more than all his other sons. That's why Moses is called the man of God. And Jesus is called the son of man. Why? Because Moses is Joseph. And Jesus is the son of Joseph. So who is King David? Also, I will make him my firstborn, in reference to King David. My covenant will I not break nor alter the thing that is gone out of my lips. Once I have sworn to my holiness that I will not lie unto David, who is considered the firstborn, just like Jacob. So from Jacob, the firstborn, sprang Moses. From King David sprang Solomon. So who is Enoch? And he called his name Enoch. And he was the first among men that are born on earth who learned the writing and knowledge and wisdom, and who wrote down the signs of heaven. In other words, Enoch. So what does it say? Today, the oldest, most complete manuscript of the book of Enoch is written in the Ethiopian Ge'ez language. Why? Because the Ethiopic book of Enoch is the oldest of the three attributed to Enoch. And you will find the book of Enoch within Haile Selassie's 62 Amharic version, translated only from Ge'ez. So the Haile Selassie version of the Bible, which was published in 1962, contains a narrow canon in Amharic, translated from Ge'ez. In other words, you will find Enoch, Jubilees, Maccabees, the books of Esdras, the ones you just read. So who changed up the story? Martin Luther published his German translation of the New Testament in 1522. Don't forget, Hebrew is Yiddish. So he basically predated he predated Yiddish by calling it Hebrew. And they based that story off of the King David story. But we all know Haile Selassie is the root of David, and he's the king of all kings. That's why there's no evidence of King David being here 3,000 years ago. So as you can clearly see, it was a German language, because Germany was the first successful publish of his New Testament in German. The first complete edition of the Old and New Testaments were done in German. Why? Because German is Yiddish. Yiddish is Hebrew. So what does it say? This is according to Haile Selassie about the Ethiopian scriptures. Each church, in fact, contains a library in which certain documents are unique testimonies of past times and equal in artistic, literary, and scientific value. The most beautiful volumes of the Ethiopian collections of the National Library of Paris, the British Museum. These parchment manuscripts are written in ancient Ethiopic Ge'ez, language still spoken by priests, some of these of which each page is made up of an entire animal skin and represents the service of one man. Because remember, only God alone could write the Bible, the past, present, and the future. And years of work as a copyist and a miniaturist. Even the humblest of books, the least cared for, the least ancient, could also be abundant in philosophical or linguistic teachings. For example, after many days thou shalt be visited in the latter years, and there you will find Sheba from Ethiopia. Also, very important, in 1962, the new Amharic translation from Ge'ez alone was printed, realizing that there ought to be a revision from the original Hebrew and Greek. In other words, Haile Selassie did not like that Hebrew and Greek false teachings within his Bible. Follow Jah, not man.